What is happening, YouTube? How y'all doing today? My name is Joe, just your average Joe. We are hanging out in the garage once again. It is Tuesday. Welcome to Tuesday. Appreciate y'all hanging out with me today. We've got some sales to go over, so we're kind of staying steady with sales. So I'm happy about that. Nothing crazy, but steady with sales. Hopefully, your sales are steady or picking up a little bit because it is November. So hopefully, you start seeing an increase here soon if you haven't already. Um, We've got some comments to go over, so we'll do that. Go over the sales, and that's about all I got for y'all. So my mail lady already came through. I told her, "Can you circle back?" Because I got a late start today. I had to pack all my football helmet stuff. If you guys know, I do autographed football helmets on Facebook Live. The group, if you want to join, it is a private group on Facebook. It's called BTG East Coast, and we do autographed football helmets. So if any guys are football fans or memorabilia fans, come check us out. We do dabble a little bit into baseball, a little bit into basketball, a little bit of entertainment stuff. Like we got a Star Wars Boba Fett helmet that's signed by Jeremy Bullock. That's got the inscription Boba Fett on it as well. I assign those things to football teams because everything we do is football related. But like the Jeremy Bullock is assigned to like the Seattle Seahawks. So it's we do break style. So like if somebody was to hit the Seahawks, or if somebody was to get the Seahawks in the because everything is randomized. So if somebody gets the Seahawks in a random, and then I happen to open a random box that happens to have that helmet in it, then they win that Jeremy Bullock because it's assigned to the Seahawks. So if that makes sense a little bit, hopefully. If you don't know what breaks are, it may not make a whole lot of sense. It's almost like a raffle, kind of, sort of, but a little bit more fun. But anyway, if you want to join the group, again, it's a private group. Let me know you came over from from YouTube. And again, it's on Facebook. We go live on Facebook almost every night. It's BTG East Coast. So there's my plug for my other business. For any of y'all fans of sports memorabilia, mainly football stuff. But anyway, let's go ahead and dive in for the day. We have several comments. Let's start there. So we got Kurt starts off with Yo Average Joe. Hell yeah, the Lions are rolling. Hope they pick up an edge rusher. Well, they just picked up Zadarius Smith. I knew that. I saw a thing yesterday that they were probably picking him up, and today it was announced legit. He's not going to be a Lion. So I think we got him for a fifth, sixth round pick, or 2/5 and a sixth, or 1/5 and 2/6. I forget what it is, but he's like 32 years old. He's got 5 sacks on the year. He's a 3-time Pro Bowler. Hopefully, it gives him a little fire back in his little pep in his step, and a little fire under him. Now that he's going to be with a good team because Cleveland sucks. And so hopefully he kind of steps his game up a little bit. He'll be around good coaching, good players, good locker room. So hopefully it kind of rekindles his passion and gives us a really good rest of the season. So I'm excited. We didn't have to pay a bunch. We didn't have to give up a bunch for him. He's proven he's having an okay season so far. He's still a threat. So do we keep him after this year? I don't know. We'll find out. Maybe we do keep him, if he's cheap enough for another couple of years and sign him as but once Aiden comes back, I wouldn't say we really need him, but it's always nice to have a really good backup. We'll just see. I mean, we can still use him, so we'll see what happens. But at least for this year, it fills that gap. It ain't going to be Aiden, but it's a good option. And we didn't have to, give away the farm for it. Like everybody was talking about Crosby and Myles Garrett, and those guys are going to have to give the farm to first round picks, and it's just not. We've been picking a lot better lately, so we don't want to give away first and second round draft picks. We don't want to give up any of our guys. So it worked out pretty well, I think. So anyway, but yes, glad to hear you had good sales over the weekend. Nice work on getting through the death pile. Wish I could say the same. Well, Kurt Basin, I am hammering away at the death pile. I appreciate it. It's fourth quarter, man. Start getting the gear, getting a fire under your butt and get yours done. Last night I processed a Wii U, got that thing fired up and working and reset and cleaned and all good to go. So that thing's ready to list. I cleaned it. I opened. So I had an Xbox 360 that didn't work, didn't read discs, but it fired up. It looked in great condition. Fans were hardly had any dust or anything in them. It was a nice looking system, but it wasn't reading discs. So I do sometimes do this, and so I did it last night. I opened it up. I opened up the disk drive. I cleaned it with isopropyl alcohol, put it back in. Well, I don't put it back together until I test it. So that way, because I may end up replacing the hard drive because I think the CD drive or disk drive, because I believe in the Xbox 360 the disk drives are like 30 bucks, 25, 30 bucks, 30 give or take. So it's worth it because normally I sell them for like 100, and it's the old school white OG Xbox 360. But I normally bundle it with a couple controllers, a bunch of games, because I always come across so many 360 games. So I've got a ton of filler 360 games. So like 15, 12 games. I think I put 12 games with it, normally 10 or 12. So and I normally get about $100, give or take, out of a 360 because I make it a pretty nice bundle. Usually 2 hard drives, because like I just had another 360 that was donated to my wife, and it was trash. It was totally jacked up, cracked everywhere. The CD disk drive was jammed. It wouldn't come out, or wouldn't load. The button on the power button was like missing. It was just in real jacked up shape. So I just took the hard drive off of that one, and that happens, that happens occasionally. So I've got several hard drives for those old school 360s just laying around. So normally I'll put them in with a good one. I'll have like 2 hard drives, stuff like that, 2 controllers, blah blah blah. So it's worth to spend the 30 to still make profit on it. But in this case, after I opened it up, tested it out again, worked. Loaded discs. I was like, yeah. So isopropyl alcohol, guys, and Q-tips. I'm batting like 97% at this point. I've only had one not work so far. I actually had a PS2 that I also processed last night, PS2 Slim Silver, and same thing. It wasn't loading disk at first, and that one obviously is easy to get to. It just pops open, you just clean it, and you're good. Just unlike the Xbox, you have to take it apart. But I did that, and boom, fired up. It was great. I was like, yes. I ended up getting the part for my PS1. I think I mentioned this in the couple episodes back when I was processing a bunch of stuff like 3 videos ago, that I mentioned that one of my PS1s wasn't loading. After I cleaned the disc, it didn't work still. That was one of the few, I think the first or second one that hasn't worked for me. So in that case, I did just buy the disc, the laser, and the optic drive for it, and it was like 22 bucks, and swapped it out last night, fired it up, worked like a charm. So in that case, in PS1s, if I bundle it with decent amount of games, 6 to 10 games, they sell for me for about $80 to $100. If I have better games, then it'll go for a little bit higher. But normally it's all filler games. Occasionally I'll put in non-filler games, just to get some out and get a little bit more out of the system in the bundle. But anyway, that's what's been happening. I've just been putting stuff up, processing. All I have left right now to process video game wise is a Nintendo, and then my Sega that I need to get processed, and an Atari. It does work, but the controller didn't work. So the Atari I fired up on my daughter's TV. It still has the coaxial, and so I had to buy the adapter for like $5. It came with 2 of them, so I got one as a spare. I don't come across Ataris often, but every now and again I come across them, and if they're cheap enough, I'll get them, because usually you can get about $75 to $100, depending how many games and things you have with them, and it working and things like that. I've sold a non-working one for like $50 or $40. So don't sell them very often, but the controller didn't work, and so I bought a controller for it, and so I'm just waiting for that to come in once, and it was like $16, I believe. Once the controller comes in, then I'll bundle that together. It's a clean Atari, and it fires up, works. It's going to have like 7 or 8 games with it, so I'll probably put it up for like $79.99 or something like that, or $89.99, and make an offer and see what happens. So, so I got the Atari, the Nintendo, NES, Nintendo, and then that's it. The only other thing I got to process video game wise is my Sega CD that I'm keeping in my Model 1. Outside of that, I've got 2 more bins of clothes that I got to hammer through, which there's about 25-ish items there. And then technically, I do have a bin upstairs full of like switches and handhelds and controllers and hard drives and things like that I need to get through as well. They're already processed, clean, tested, and good to go. And then I'm done. And then basically all I have left is all the video games that I'm not really gonna dive into unless I have a terrible yard sale day, and I got to get stuff up on eBay. Then I'll put some of that stuff up. But for me, yard sales is right around the corner again. I know there's not a ton of them because it's getting to be that down season. But around here in North Carolina, we still go pretty good all through the winter. It's just there's not a ton of them, but there are going to be quite a few out there still. So that's nice being down here. I mean, hell, it's still 70 some degrees today, and it's November 5th, and we're still talking about mid to high 70s, as far as and all sunny and nice and everything. Anyway, so we will try to do the Grow Pro thing here maybe this weekend or next weekend is my plan. So I'm hoping to get through all the clothes and stuff this week, and possibly go yard sailing this weekend, because basically I'm almost through all my stuff at that point, outside of that bin of switches and controllers and all that stuff I just mentioned and other handhelds. So that's kind of like another hoard pile for me, though. It's kind of like my game pile, because I've been hoarding those for a while. I got like 7 DS XLs, 3DS XLs in there, and several Game Boy Advance. I got 3 SPs, Game Boy Advance SPs in there. I got quite a few handhelds, quite a decent amount of money sitting in that bin, but it's all processed and ready to go. But it's kind of like my games. I kind of hoarded them and save them for a rainy day. So I don't. That's not. I don't call that a death pile. That's not part of my death pile, like my games over here and the games that are upstairs that you've seen before. All my Pokemon games. Those aren't my death pile items. Those are my rainy day, good value, high demand, sell pretty quickly, not like crazy fast, but sell pretty quick, sell through rates pretty good, those kind of items, or games. And so they don't, I just kind of save those for rainy day. So I don't consider those death pile. My death pile is the 2 bins of clothes. So once those things are hammered out, yard sales coming back, and then I'm going to try to take my GoPro out and show you guys what I do in the field and how things work, how I operate, which is nothing crazy. I'm not a rocket scientist here. It's just the same old. What I do think I do well in is negotiating and talking to people, and just networking and things like that. That is something I think I do pretty well. Not the best at it by any means, but I'm open to talking to people and starting conversations at yard sales and exchanging numbers and or negotiating things and stuff like that. So anyway, so that is something I think I am good at, that I can share with you guys. So, but Kurt, once again, thank you for commenting and hanging out. Fart Sack Jack says, BS, go live. Look, man, that's coming too, man. That's coming too. Just like my GoPro thing, man, I want to hit 1,000 subscribers before we start talking live. So, but I got you, man. I got you. It's coming. Jacob Martin, I use Google Translate to read messages and translate messages back to them. I have too. The biggest problem with this negative feedback was that they have one review, and it's from me when they bought from me. So they're brand new to eBay. I think they just started in October. So they just started an eBay account. So I'm not even going to, and there may be a language barrier there. I know I can use Google Translate, but I know pretty much what it says, but I know I could use Google Translate and type something up and send it to them, but I'm just not even going. They've already left me negative feedback, so I'm not motivated to try to get them to remove it at this point. And because they don't have any feedback really, and they just started on eBay, I doubt they're going to go through the process of doing a feedback revision. I just don't see it happening. In my experience, the newer folks aren't going to do that stuff. If they've been around eBay a while, have a good amount of feedback, they may be more likely to do that. But a lot of people never reply to your messages on eBay, believe it or not. I'd say probably at least half of the folks that send something, the fact that they didn't send me a message first and just put feedback on me tells me what I need to know. We're just going to leave it at that. And because there's a language barrier and because they're new, I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm going to eat that negative. They can keep I don't believe it's broken controller, but they claim it is. But either way, we're just going to leave that as is. But I appreciate you letting me know. I do use Google Translate. I have used it before. Like Russian. I had somebody from Russia one time send me messages, and I'm like, I don't even know what language this is. And so I played with it a little bit and then found it was Russian, and then did the Google Translate through Russian. So I have German is another one I've done before with somebody from Germany. So I definitely appreciate that. And thank you for commenting, Jacob, again, and hanging out. Stephen Harris says, strike 1, new to eBay. Strike 2, Mexican. Strike 3, leaving feedback in Mexican. Look, I hope I didn't come across like I wasn't trying to be like, I'm not like anti by any means. One of my great college friends from college is from Mexico. Actually, he's from Peru, but like not the same. But I'm just saying, like, there's no like I wasn't trying to be negative or like I don't like Mexicans, because that's certainly not the case. But I hopefully didn't come across that way. I didn't watch the video back, so hopefully it didn't come across that way. If it did, that's not what I meant. But anyway, this is all raw and unedited, as you can tell. So if it did, I hope it didn't. Now you're gonna make me go back and watch it. Well, Stephen Harris, thank you for commenting, and thank you, and I'm glad I tickled you and made you laugh a little bit. Um, now I'm like, man, did I say something that sounded not right, like not politically correct, and like I was like I'm anti, like I'm definitely not anti. Anyway, my bill, my so Drifter Thrifters says, um, Mexican is not a language, man. What the fuck? Spanish. Okay, fair. I didn't see that reply. Fair. You're not. You're right. It's not. It's a country. Mexico. Spanish. All right. Anyway. Jesus. Is my foot going in my mouth right now? I feel like I'm my foot's going in my mouth even further. So I just want to leave that alone. Stephen Harris, thank you for making me laugh on that one. So anyway, Drifter Thrifter says my bill squash the fish in dramatic style as well. Gotta love winning them rival games. Absolutely, Drifter Thrifter. Yeah, man, the Bills are looking good, man. I like Josh Allen. I'm a Josh Allen fan. He's a good kid, man. He also says Drifter Thrifter says I'm good for help. Been in the game similar period of time since about '98. Well, you've been in a little bit longer than me. 11,000 plus items listed. Wow, man, you're killing it, man. What items? What category are you mainly in? Are you spread out a bunch of different stuff, or are you niched into a certain category? And what is it? What is it that you sell, or what is it that you like to sell the most? I'm curious. 11,000 items is a lot of items. I don't even think I've got about 5,000 items sold in my original eBay, and I'm pushing almost, is it 4,000 items on this one? And I've only had this one up for 3 years now. My other one I've had since 2000, and I've got about actually it's almost 6,000 items sold I think on my other eBay. So I don't have that many items listed by any means. I think I've got 600 on this eBay. My other eBay I don't really mess with much anymore. I've got like 40 some items up on the other eBay. We used to use that one for our thrift store. That my original eBay account we used to use. It's actually called 301 Treasures, which is the name of our thrift store. Feedback on there's terrible because I've had a couple negatives on a couple transactions that were that's a long story, but my feedback on that account's terrible, unfortunately, because I've had a couple bogus situations that happened. But and guys decided to leave me negative feedback, and that's fine. But my sell through rate is atrocious. I've only got like 40 items up, but I also don't put stuff. We hardly ever put things up on that eBay anymore because we don't do a lot of eBay through the store anymore. Most of the stuff is donations and things you wouldn't really put on eBay. Household goods and clothes, like not good clothes either, but household goods, clothes, furniture, stuff like that. So it's really not eBay stuff. When we used to do storage units all the time, that eBay was killing it. We had 900, 1,000 items up at any given time. Category was all over the place. I mean, we were crushing it. I mean, we were doing like I'm doing more than I'm doing on this eBay. We were doing probably close to between 7 and 10,000 every month. Every month we were doing, and again, that's not crushing to some people, and to others it is. So I mean, it's all a matter of perspective. But for us, for running a small little thrift store, and that being just part of the equation, was 7 to 10 grand just on eBay. That's not including the money coming through the store, the cash coming through the store for the stuff that's in store, like your furniture and household goods and clothes and glassware and some collectibles, but not much because most of the better stuff we put on eBay. DVDs, believe it or not, we're in a small little town that's kind of 20 years back in the past almost. People still watch VHS and DVD and buy that stuff there. So lots of DVDs and VHS tapes, believe it or not, we were selling through the store. DVD players and TVs and all that kind of stuff, that we'd get through thrift stores that we wouldn't be selling on eBay. But we were crushing it at that point, and both within the store and on eBay, we were doing. And again, crushing it's a matter of perspective. For us, for being in a small town, for having multiple streams of income at the time, we were doing pretty good. I mean, it was me and my ex father-in-law, and I kind of miss those days from time to time. I do miss those days occasionally because I didn't have the helmet business at that time. I was 100% focused on reselling and the store and buying units and processing and putting on eBay and rinse and repeat, putting stuff on marketplace, having customers come in. He delivered stuff to customers that would come in buy furniture, or they would come in and pick up the furniture. Just all that, just that wheel, just rinse and repeat constantly. And we got very efficient, very good at what we were doing. And yeah, like I said, I kind of miss those days, and we were making a living, pretty good, and it was growing. It was continuously growing, which was nice to see it kind of start off. Our eBay is what started us wanting to do a thrift store, because we were originally doing eBay and yard sales. Every weekend we'd do yard sales, pop-up yard sale at my house or his house, or there's a local flea market. We'd bring out 15 tables. We'd have a trailer full, his truck full, my truck full. We had a storage unit that we had everything in, tons of bins, and we just bins all the tables, go to where we're going to do the yard sale. And we got a following over time. Over like 6-8 months of doing it consistently, we started gaining a following. But the problem was, it was like, this is getting tiring doing this all the time. Let's get a store. We can just process and put it in the store, and it's at the store. And so we don't have to continue breaking everything, putting everything in and taking everything out, putting everything in, taking everything out. I mean, that's a chore to do that almost every weekend. And we would be set up sometimes Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Things would get wet overnight and all that kind of stuff. So it was just, things would get broken in transit. And so it was just like, let's get a store. And so we got to a point where eBay fed the store initially. We were making enough money on eBay to have the store open, operating basically for free. And still paying ourselves. And that's kind of what we were like, if we're making, 7 to 10 grand just on eBay, doing what we're doing right now, doing storage units and doing yard sales, and so, if we can find a place that's like $2,000 a month, I mean, and we can make even more money through foot traffic and it'd be open 5 days a week. Like, it was a no brainer. We were like, yeah, let's do it. So that was the model, the business model was eBay was feeding everything else. So as long as we were crushing 7 to 10,000 on eBay, well, at first it wasn't 7 to 10. At first it was more like 5 to 7. Then we ramped up when we got in the store, and it got up to like 7 to 10, but 5 to 7. So we were still paying each other, and then thinking to ourselves, 2,000 or so a month for all bills, your rent, utilities, and all this stuff. And then obviously we'd be making even more money, so it should work, and it did. It worked out very well. eBay continued to feed that store until I left, and we had somebody else jump in. Anyway, I'm rambling now, but and then it's just kind of gone downhill since. So my wife now operates it, but she's a one-man band, a one-woman band, and it's hard for her to do it. I've got my things going on. I don't mess with it anymore. She doesn't have any good help, so it's hard to find good help. We've had some people come through, several people come through, and it's not worked out. So it's really hard on her to do it as one person to do it all. And so we've gotten to a point where we're probably going to close it down. It's not really profitable. I mentioned this in other videos. It's not really profitable for us anymore to have it running. We're pretty much just breaking even and actually going backwards a little bit, depending on the month. We may go backwards a little bit, which isn't ideal. Could we ramp it back up? Could we get some good help? Could we get it back where it needs to go? Yes. But me and my wife has also talked about, like, the amount of time she's putting in, she's kind of mentioned she thinks she's at a point where she wants to get back into the workforce. So it's just maybe I don't have anybody else that I would trust enough to run it. So I think I'm just going to transition it into, the address back here, keep the business and LLC open, run maybe some eBay things through it here, maybe even this business through it, and separate my helmets again. Because right now I got my helmets business and my eBay business all under the same. So I may end up separating them and going. Anyway, that's all stuff that I'm going to have to figure out I'm going to see how I'm going to work all that out. Or I may just shut it down. I don't know. But that's kind of where I'm at. Again, I'm rambling on all that stuff. But yeah, so I mean, I had somebody ask me before, like, is it worth opening a thrift store? And if you're in the game, and I'm like, yeah, if you're in I mean, it's, if there's not a ton of thrift stores in your area, which that town only had one other thrift store. Now there's none. We're the only one, but unfortunately we may end up having to pack up too. Yeah, I mean, if you can get eBay to a point where it can feed the beast, then I would say absolutely, because then you don't have to stress. Like, if one month you make $1,000 through foot traffic and the next month you make $5,000 through foot traffic, but you're consistently making 7, 8, 9 grand through eBay pretty consistently, it's worth it, man. Because those months you make 5 grand through the store, it's like, man, we crushed it this month. And then the month we did 1,000, well, it doesn't matter. We still made 7 to 9 grand on eBay. eBay's feeding the beast. It doesn't matter how much foot traffic we get and how many people we come in, really, as long as we can keep making the money, the eBay money, as long as that's feeding the beast, the rest of it's gravy at that point, really. So, all the furniture you get through storage units and the big stuff that you can't sell on eBay, all that stuff sells. And so it's, yeah, thrift store, absolutely, because you're going to get a ton of eBay stuff through storage units too. So anyway, food for thought. And if anybody has questions about any of that, I mean, I lived it firsthand. I can give some experience. I'm not a whiz by any means, and there's people out there that obviously are going to be way better to give you advice than me, but I've at least done it. I can give you some nuggets to help you if that's something you're thinking about going into the thrift store and starting to do this full time. So anyway, drop comments. I'm obviously this is what I'm here for. I'm here to help. So, but anyway, I went a little deep there. Sorry. Um, so I don't even know how I got that deep and why I even went there. But anyway, that's why this is all raw and unedited. You get the real me. I start rambling, and you don't know where it's going. All right, next one up is the Dark 25 Twitch says, thank you, the Dark 25 Twitch, for commenting. Says, thanks for the insight, Joe. Question about an eBay store subscription. I've been using the free one, and it looks like it's time for me to get a subscription since I can't list anymore or relist. I'm at a max for the free one. Any recommendations? 100%. I think I'm basic. I think basic does 1,000 items. I think it is, or something like that. 800, 600, 1,000. I forget what the number is now, but I'm at the basic level. Then you get the free, like, what is it, $30 or $20 a quarter to buy subscriptions or buy supplies. So it's kind of worth it because I think it's what, $20 a year or something like that, or $60 a year. Look, don't quote me. Go on eBay, look at the store subscriptions. Don't quote me because I off the top of my head I can't remember. But I do know every quarter I get the bubble envelopes because they give you like $20-$30 toward supplies every quarter. So it kind of pays for itself in that respect. So yeah, I would say absolutely. And then you can put all your stuff on automatic relist, and you're not going to be paying the fees for listing fees and all that. 100%, I would say go for it. Dive into the first level, which I think is basic, and absolutely, I would say yes. And then as you tap that one out, if you continue to grow it and add more items, then tap yourself out, then I would say absolutely, then jump into the next one. Absolutely, it's worth it. Don't quote me on the prices though, obviously, but it's all on there. I like I said, I would say it almost pays for itself and just supplies that you get every quarter for free. A lot of people forget they get the free supplies. So I mentioned it last quarter, and then when we switched over to this quarter, I got mine right before the last quarter ended because I forgot about them. And then I picked up very first part of this quarter, I picked up another box, and then obviously January 1, I'll do another, and so on. And it's like $20 I think they give you, or $30 for basic store. So yeah, absolutely, I'd say do it. Next one is Mark. Mark, appreciate you commenting again. Mark says, let me reply real quick here. Mark says your video cut off at the end. Yeah, my storage, man. Like it's probably going to happen again, and if it does, it's because my storage gets too full from too many videos, and then YouTube Studio saves the storage from the videos in the app. So after so many videos, I have to delete the app and then re-download it, so it clears the storage on it, which is weird. I don't think there's another way to do it. If there is, I don't know, but that's the way I do it. I just delete the app and re-download it. And then it brings my storage back to where it needs to be, so I can start doing videos again. But anyway, yeah, I know. I put it in the description that sorry the video cut out. And I think the last 3 things I sold that I didn't show off was an Army chemical jacket, a DVD player, and I forget what the third thing was. Maybe another video game or something. I forget, but it was 3 other items I didn't get to show off yesterday. But yes, I'm aware. I'm sorry. My sales are getting better, a little better too. Well, good. I'm glad to hear that. Hopefully they continue to just get a little better or stay steady. I take steady all day long, so I like it. I like to hear that, Mark. Good deal. Paper craft sculpture. Appreciate you commenting. Paper craft sculpture. What do you got to say here? Paper craft says you can upload shorts. You can upload a short video on your listing showing that it works and it being tested. Well, that goes back to, I forget who mentioned it. Let me go back down here. Somebody else mentioned it too. I can't see it. But yes, I'm going to, so yes, thank you for that feedback. And until it's on the app, I'm very set in my ways. Until it's on the app, or until I'm like not selling anything or having really bad sales consistently, then maybe I'll consider doing it and figuring that out. But until it's on the app and easy for me to just shoot the video of the item working and then stop it and then load it, because that's like the pictures is pretty much dink, 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 and then load it and done. Until it gets that easy for me, I probably won't use it. But I'm sure at some point eBay is going to incorporate it. I'm sure they're seeing that the sales correlation of sales with videos is higher than sales without videos. So at some point, I'd imagine they're going to move it into the app too. I hope. I would assume that. But once it's in the app, I'll be doing it. That's for sure. But until then, I probably won't. But thank you again for the feedback. Thank you for commenting. Hopefully you subscribed and hopefully you've gotten a little something from my videos. And if you haven't, I appreciate you being part of the community. And if there's anything you can share, share it. I like to hear. So that's all we got for comments. Let's move into sales. I had a total of 6 sales for $246.64. So not terrible. I hit goal. That's great. We're hitting goal. We're staying steady. Goal's 200 a day, 1,400 for the week. You're gonna have some bad days. You're gonna have some good days, but by the end of the week, 200 a day is the average. That puts us in a good place. So we did good, well, very good from Friday to Monday. Now from yesterday to today is Tuesday, 246.64. Now, granted, that's not including fees and taxes and shipping. Or it might be included. No, I don't think that's including any of that. So it's going to be a little right around $200 when it's all said and done, give or take. But I'll take it. We're pretty much right at goal, so I like it. So let's show off what sold. First thing that sold which was the big sale, which helped us get there. Which that's why I like doing systems. Was a PS3 320 gig with a bunch of filler games. If you don't know, now you know. Put filler games in with your systems. It makes them more desirable. But 126 plus shipping. 126 on that one plus shipping. Has all the cords. Does this one have all the cords in it? I know I was missing cordage on one of them. Yeah, I may have to add. Yeah, I'm going to have to add. Yep, I got to go upstairs and add that cord. I got to remember that. I knew I took the cord from somewhere. All right. Right? Yep, it's got all 3. Yep, this is the one I took. I had to take a micro USB cord that charges the controller for something else that sold. I think it was the Super Nintendo because it had the HDMI hookup on it, and it took one of those cords. So I took it out of this system, and I ordered 5 more on eBay for like $10, but they're not here yet. So I got another one that I just got from all the Wii stuff that I processed yesterday. Thank goodness. I got more in other bundles that I could have pulled from, but I do have an extra one, so I'm gonna go grab that. In fact, let me do that real quick before I forget, because next thing I know, I'm gonna pack that thing up before we forget. I didn't include the cord, so give me 2 seconds. Go grab it. I'm not gonna take my mic. I'll be back. All right, I'm back. I don't think they'll. The only difference is the one I had in the picture is gray or black, and this one's gray. So hopefully they don't. You had a black cord in there. Like, really? So yeah, these micro, was it USB Type 2 or B? Anyway, they're the ones for the PS3 controllers. So anyway, there's that. So that's all for 126 plus shipping. Pair of jeans. Finally, some jeans are getting up out of here. Wintertime. People are finally getting some jeans. Brand new pair of Levi's. What are these? The 505s. 40 by 30. Brand new with tags. Sold for, I think, cheap, actually. $16 plus shipping. I don't know. Y'all tell me, any of y'all clothes resellers, is that cheap? I think that's cheap. I picked them up for $1. So, I can't complain, but I think that's cheap. Next thing that sold was brand new copy of Guitar Hero, which surprisingly is only $11. Brand new sealed Guitar Hero Aerosmith, $11 plus free shipping. My last Atomic Purple controller, the last one, I had 4 of them. They've all sold over the past like 10 days. All of them sold. People send me them lowball offers. That one sold for full price again, $18 plus shipping. Red Dead Redemption, no map, $13 free shipping. And the last thing that sold was Hitman 1 and 2, or Hitman on Xbox, OG Xbox. Complete. Both of them are complete. Very nice condition, almost like new. The pair sold for $15 plus shipping. So there's that. That's all I got for you guys. So I'm gonna go ahead and get this stuff packed and get myself some lunch. So there's that. Pretty much done for the, well, not quite, but I'll be done here shortly for the day. And yeah, appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Thank y'all once again for your support. Make sure you drop comments, ask questions, drop comments, whatever it is. You know, I'm glad. I'll be glad to help. Again, anything, shipping, packing, taxes, sourcing, how eBay works, questions about eBay, questions about what you use for packing material, where you get your packing material, whatever it is, what size tape you use, whatever questions you got, drop them at me. I enjoy answering and talking about stuff, as you can tell. And because my wife doesn't want to hear it, and neither do my kids. They don't want to hear about any of this stuff. So I appreciate y'all wanting to hear and your support. And if I can help you along your journey, it just is a plus and is a gravy. So, but anyway, have a wonderful rest of your Tuesday. Assuming we have sales, we will be back tomorrow. And that's all I got. Make sure you subscribe. We'll see y'all in the next one. Bye, everybody.